Hey, what's going on, everybody? We are live for Financial Fitness Friday. And I don't want to give away too much of my upcoming podcast, right, where I talk about how to take advantage of the volatility that we're going to see. But I want to kind of expand on that, give you guys a little sneak peek. And then maybe if any of you guys are around, you can ask some questions, all right? Because I love doing that. And I'll tell you what I think is going to happen. I think we're seeing a lot of rates increases. We're seeing the markets get absolutely pummeled, but I don't think it's really getting pummeled. I think more it's correcting. Okay, Dave, you had a couple interesting things before the show. Why don't you talk about some of the things that you see, some of the questions, and then I'll try to fill in some of these gaps.
Yeah, sure, man. I mean, a lot of people right now are talking tariffs, right? Everybody's scared of tariffs. Why is everything increasing? And guys, look, this is just generally what I see out in social media world. I take full disclaimer, take it with a grain of salt, as you should with people's opinions or non-factual information. But it seems that everybody's up in arms with tariffs, this percentage from this country doing this to us. In the correct terms, I think the best thing to do is explain exactly, if you want to touch, what a tariff is and what this means in the future of where this is heading. You want to touch on that? You got an idea, Mr.
I mean, I have an idea, but the way you're presenting it seems like you have no fucking clue. So, like, I mean, if you don't have a clue, then we could go to a different topic. But I'll tell you, here's the reality of it. Okay, long term, the tariffs are going to be good, right? It's us. Countries have been doing it to us for a very, very long time. Okay, people don't really realize that, and all we're doing is putting them back. But the reason, what we're reciprocating, or actually for the first, not the first time, because we've done this in the past, but for the first time in recent memory, we're actually also putting tariffs on other countries. And here's why it's a big deal. We are the number one market and the number one consumers of goods. Okay, so when we are charging tariffs to other countries, that can be crippling, right? And the idea behind them is charge tariffs so we don't have to pay as much in taxes. And if we're doing this, we really shouldn't be paying any in taxes. That's my honest assessment of that. And I don't think we ever should pay taxes again, based on the fact that we know these politicians have just stolen. Foreign aid is just political donations. It's a lot of crazy things like that. Now, regardless, it really doesn't matter about. I mean, it all matters. However, what I want to get into is you're going to see a lot of volatility right now, right? You're seeing 5% swings in crypto. You're seeing 1% to 2% swings in the markets. You're seeing materials, okay? Material costs skyrocket or plummet depending on what you're watching. And so what I would tell you is long term, I think this strengthens the dollar. One of my biggest concerns going into this year was BRICS. And now it seems like because Trump is in office, he's been able to absolutely dismantle BRICS. Okay, which means that is very good for the US dollar, which helps our economy. However, they have to get the debt under control. And if they don't get the debt under control, it's going to bankrupt the country. All right. It has ballooned to obscene amounts. And the reason this comes into play is you're seeing these asset classes with these wild swings. And if you're seeing these wild swings in asset classes, let's say you are you manufacture shooting range steel. Okay. Well, if you have the chance to go out and because steel just takes a big hit and you can buy, like, let's say 6 months of inventory at really, really cheap prices, that's going to be very, very favorable for you in the business. Same thing. If you have a long-term like crypto strategy and you're seeing it go from 100 to 80, well, it's on sale. Long-term, you believe in it. It's a strong asset to park money in. Well, you're getting a 20% discount. Why wouldn't you take advantage of that? All right. So it's going to be how smart you are in investing your money, in investing your company resources, because this is going to create massive opportunities. I also think that there are some real major roadblocks, okay, and major things that are coming up that could absolutely set us spiraling, okay. And commercial real estate, there is a lot of commercial real estate loans that are coming due. They are coming due and here's the thing, they can't refinance them, because right now a lot of times when you do a commercial, it'll be like a 5-year lock, and then once that's up, they reprice it at the new rate, or it could be a 10-year lock. So what you were seeing is a lot of people that got decent deals on commercial real estate prior to COVID at great interest rates. Okay. I really need to explain this to you guys, because this isn't in the news right now, and it should be. So a lot of people bought all this commercial property prior to COVID. They got great interest rates. Now the interest rates are probably going to go from like 2 to 3% all the way to like anywhere from 6 to 8%, right? That is crippling in terms of payment. When you mix that in with the fact that anyone that bought prior to COVID, they were expecting strong demand for rentals on those commercial properties, especially office class buildings. And now, because we just went through, we didn't just go through it. Fuck. I mean, it feels like we went through it the other day. I'm serious. But because of COVID, everyone got used to I don't want to say a virtual economy, but working from home. Okay. Doing a Zoom. And a lot of these, what would have been great clients and tenants, okay, for these commercial buildings, realize they don't need them anymore. And so the demand for commercial space is down. And so what you're going to see is low occupancy. And now these guys have to refi into other rates. And I think that it's going to it's going to crash so hard. It's already come down a lot because people are realizing, at least smart money is realizing this is what's going on and taking place. But I do believe it can actually pull everything else down as well. So you have that. And I'm going to tell you one of the biggest opportunities coming up too. So I will finish after I make this point. The other point I want to make is, well, I'll just tell you the opportunity. Whoever can realize and whoever can take office space in metro areas that is unused, you're going to be able to get that at a very, very steep discount. And it's already at a steep discount, but I wouldn't touch it, okay, until, probably another 6 to 12 months. And what I would say to that is, if you have an opportunity to go and you can repurpose it for something that would be in demand, absolutely do it. I mean, absolutely, because you're going to make a killing. You will absolutely make a killing. And you have to move quick, because that's something you could franchise and get out in other cities or states once you have the blueprint. Now, I'm not saying I have the perfect idea. I don't even think this is a good idea, but I'll give you an example, like vertical farming. Okay. They do that in China. If you could take an office building in the middle of the city and do vertical farming with how health conscious everybody is now, and you could say, all right, look, we have this, we're growing it right here. It's going to be shipped to your door. Okay. In these metro areas, that could crush, right? So there is going to be a massive opportunity. The other thing I'm really concerned about is something geopolitically popping off and breaking off World War III. All right. I've said that. I think I've been saying that prior to COVID, right? But it's gotten closer and closer with, the Ukraine and Russia. And now with Israel fucking pissing in everybody's sandbox, I also think that's a problem. All right. So hopefully everything chills out. And honestly, we're overdue for a correction anyway at this point. So We're going to see the volatility. So what does that mean? Stack your cash. Be smart. Buy assets that actually matter. Okay.
One thing I'll add to that. I mean, hopefully everything chills. I mean, at least that ceasefire goes through on one side, and then who knows what's going to happen with Israel and everything else going on. But you're right on that, man. War's no good for anybody. It's good for the warmongers that obviously want to make money off of that. But getting back.
Lindsey Graham and that fucking who's the eye patch clown?
Dan.
Crenshaw. He can lick my balls.
Coming out of his eye. Oh shit, man. One thing I would say, like for opportunities coming up, with some of these rates and treasury bonds dropping and the real estate interest rates are dropping too. In our area, obviously supply is an issue, but with some of these things dropping, guys, if you have a massive amount of debt, I would try to get out of it as soon as possible. If you have a shitload of credit card debt, fourth quarter numbers are pushing 1.3 trillion. Get out of it, because one thing I'll say, and I don't think we talk about it enough on the flip side, they want to impose that 10% and so forth on these credit cards, but okay, what's up?
Finish before I interrupt and go off on a tangent.
Yeah. You voluntarily signed up for that, right? Like you understood what you were getting yourself into. You understand, obviously, what revolving trade lines are all about. These things can fluctuate based on the market. Yes, I get it. Times were tough. It's hard to eat. I sympathize with people for that. But now's the time where, oh, great, 10%. You don't know what's going to happen on the flip side. These guys could come in and look, all right, well, 10%. Now we're going to shut your limit off. Now you're here.
That's not what.
No,
Bro,
go ahead.
100%.
Well, those are things that could happen, right? So
no. It's happening.
Oh yeah,
that's going to happen if they enact 10%. Okay, SBA loans are not even at fucking 10% right now. They're some of them are. Okay, 504s are actually lower. All right, if you dictate to credit facilities and lending facilities that you can, you're capped out at 10%, there's no incentive to lend. Okay, so that means that if they are capped at 10%, who is actually going to get that? Only the top risks. Okay. I'm saying probably the top 5% of people with credit scores and income levels. And guess what? You're going to have to be verified way harder than just what you do now today. Fill out a fucking credit card application and state it. All right. There is zero chance if someone has been in financial markets. All right. And by the way, guys, I believe in ethical capitalism, but it's capitalism. Okay. If you come in and you try to cap everybody at 10 fucking percent, that's not capitalism. Okay. That is you putting on guide rails, and that will absolutely backfire. And it's the dumbest thing that these guys are pushing for. And shame on them, because if you don't understand what that is going to cause and what chaos that's going to cause, you shouldn't be in office, because anyone with a brain can understand that if you cap those rates, okay, at 10%, most people are not going to have access to credit anymore.
Yeah. It's a trickle down. Like you said, man, it doesn't just affect the cards. It affects everything. Mm-hmm. It's going to put a massive shift. If you want some type of installment line, it's definitely going to take a massive shift on the mortgage lines. Guys, 5 years ago during COVID, okay, when all this chaos was going on, FHAs, you couldn't even get approved anymore for an FHA. You had to be pushing 700. Today, or even back then, the minimum, if you really want to get in, the minimum for an FHA is 580 if you're willing to pay the interest and the down money. The maximum and beyond is 620. So imagine that for an FHA, you're coming in now and you're at 700. It's going to be the same path again, probably worse.
Yeah,
definitely going to be worse. You're going to be unlendable at that point.
Correct. You're cutting off, and think about this too. You just said credit card balances are at all-time highs, right? So you're gonna make these changes. No one's gonna have credit. Their current credit that they have is going to tank. All right. And it will absolutely, if you mix that, right, like let's say they pass that, you mix that with the commercial real estate we just touched on earlier. Okay. And the fact that we're overdue, awful correction. Awful. Yeah. I mean, like one of the worst we'll wind up seeing, like stack fucking cash.
Yeah, and honestly, man, on the credit card side, we'll keep it a little Mindset Monday topic here. You're not going to change the habits. You know what I mean?
No kidding.
10%? Fuck, I'm never going to pay this thing, man. Let's swipe away if we can, right? Say in a perfect world, they just shut it down. It's like, oh, yeah, let's go, man. Off to the race.
Oh, dude, I'm seeing it right now, brother. Like I'm seeing lines get shut. Amex is clipping people left and right, okay? Lines of credit are getting clipped left and right. All right? These capital markets are like they're smart. They look ahead, okay, and they know a lot more than the average person.
Amen.
There's
brother.
just what?
I said, "Amen, brother."
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I get fired up when we talk about this stuff. And I didn't mean to cut you off so many times, but
Hey,
guys,
dude,
listen,
man, that's your wheelhouse, man. If you gotta go, like let it be known. People need to know this stuff, bro. And like, not enough people are obviously talking about it. When you were going, I was like, well, shit, dude, fucking run with it. You know what I mean?
Well, guys, listen, I hope you got a lot out of me and Dave fucking ranting. All right, we appreciate you. Share this with someone that needs to hear it, and we will catch you on Mindset Monday. Actually, yeah, Mindset Monday. Take care, guys.
Ding, 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 ding.